When a child is born, the entire family rejoices. A new beginning. But can one imagine the plight of the parents when the doctor informs that the child is special? Here is the story of an achiever who decided to chart her career path working for these souls. Mrs. Shilpa Arora, a woman with great
My name is Shilpa Arora, and I've been in the field of special education since the year 2000. Rather, 1999, I joined this field, and it's been a very long journey. I have been working as a special educator in the beginning for the first 3-4 years. Then I got a job as a principal of a school of a special school, and I've been working there for the last 15 years. And now, for the last 5 years, I've started my own school with the name of Upasana Special School. I was a special educator. I wanted to enter the line where nobody was doing anything. Nobody had heard of special children when I started working. Nobody knew about children with Down syndrome. Autism was an unheard name at that time. Now it's everybody knows about it. But in the year 1999, 2000, nobody had heard about Down syndrome, autism,
Yeah.
and they were all children were considered to be differently abled. That time they were not even differently abled; they were called mentally challenged. Today, the word mentally challenged is not considered a good word. We call all these children differently abled
Yeah.
or children with special needs. See, I had already done my training in psychology from Jesus and Mary College. And then I had gone to the US to do a course in clinical psychology. Unfortunately, I could not complete it, but I had done from the US. When I came back and my children were old enough, I decided to go back to working and pursue my interest. So I wanted to do something what nobody was doing. Like I told you earlier also, nobody had heard about this thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be, out of the box, different from the rest of the world. And I always felt that this is the strata of society that requires maximum help. I'd seen the facilities that were available for such children in the US, Europe, Japan, but these facilities were not available in our country. And those children who are from well to do families, they are able to get these facilities. But what about those children who cannot afford?
Yeah.
Children from the lower strata of society, children from our villages who have no help at all, who don't even know what is wrong with their child. And the society says that the children are, as we say, pagal.
Yeah.
What about those children? So I wanted to work with such children because I knew, the world isn't closed for these children. These children can also move ahead in life.
Yeah.
What's their fault? It's not their fault that they're born into a poor family. Their parents are uneducated.
Yeah.
I wanted to work with such people.
Yeah.
Say something like a calling that came.
Mm.
So I started working with them, and the parents are very responsive. They really listen to us. They cooperate with us, and they have full faith in us.
Great.
It's fun working with such children.
Yeah.
And it is great when a child comes to us, the child doesn't know anything. He can't eat his food on his own. He can't sit in one place. And after a span of 6 months or 1 year, the parents come back and tell us, मैम ये तो खाना भी अपने आप खा रहा है, ये तो काम भी अपने आप कर रहा है, ये तो टॉयलेट अपने आप जा रहा है. So that is a very big achievement.
Yeah.
It's like a child in the family. When a child in the family takes the first step, says the first word, it's the same way for us also with these children. Because these children come to us completely raw, and then we train them. And it's a very big achievement for us.
Yeah.
We are working with children with all disabilities, be they autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, mental retardation. We also have learning disabled children, ADHD, that's attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADD, attention deficit disorder. We have mild visually impaired VI children, we have hearing impaired children. So in a way, we're catering to all disabilities,
Okay.
except for the severe visually impaired. We don't have facilities for such children.
Okay. Okay.
See, it is not necessary that these children can move into the mainstream.
Yeah.
Very, very few children move into the mainstream, in the regular schools. But we are trying our level best to help them clear their class 10, class 12 examinations, specialize in a particular field, and then try and get a job.
Okay.
But out of 100 children in my school, I might be able to just get 4 or 5 children into the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big number, but yes, it's an achievement for us.
Okay.
Because children have multiple disability. If a child does have multiple disabilities, even more difficult for us because we do not know which problem to deal with. Yes, 2, 3 problems, and each problem has a different strategy to be dealt.
Okay.
It's very, very difficult for us. And if a parent comes to us with a child who's very small, say a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, it's easier. We start from scratch. But if the child comes to us when he's out 10, 11, parents have already moved from one school to another, to the third, to the fourth, then it's very, very difficult for us. People expect results overnight. Like, we have a jadoo ki jhappi.
Mm.
1 minute में रिजल्ट मिल जाएगा, वो नहीं हो सकता. That is not possible because it is a very, very lengthy procedure, very slow procedure. It's like walking, taking one step at a time.
Mm.
For a small child, when he's learning to sit in one place, concentrate, look at the teacher, have develop eye contact with the teacher. All these factors take a very long time to develop because parents don't know how to handle such children.
Yeah.
For us to train the child is a lengthy procedure. Then it so happens that at times the parents have grandparents sitting at home.
Mm.
Like the child misbehaves, the grandparents say, don't scold him, not realizing that they, instead of doing any good, they're doing harm to the child. The child is getting spoiled.
Correct.
What we are teaching the child is being undone at home. So we have to call the grandparents over also. We have to tell them, no, this is wrong. You have to handle the child in a particular way. This
Okay.
is very, very difficult for us because they're not normal children.
Yeah.
And parents consider them to be normal. They try to treat them like the rest of the children in the family.
Mm.
But they do need individual attention on a
Okay.
1:1 basis.
Okay.
So we
And-
keep telling our parents if a child doesn't learn something in a particular way, you have to change the strategy.
Right. Okay. How many students are there in one particular class?
See, it depends from class to class.
Mm.
When we have the younger children,
Mm.
in my school, I have 10 children, and with 10 children, I have one special educator and 2 maids to help
Okay.
because the teacher is teaching the child on a 1:1 basis.
Basis.
So the maids are there, to take the child to the washroom, make him eat his food. This is for the younger children. Make him do some puzzles because these are very simple tasks. The maid can take out the toys and give them to the child. So the child has already learned them, so he's busy. We can't keep any child idle.
Okay.
So we need help all the time.
Okay.
And in some classes, we have 2 teachers with 1 maid, depending upon the IQ of the children, depending upon the capacity of the child to work. So we have to, scrutinize our staff also. Now, in some classes, we have just 10 children and 1 teacher is handling. We don't need any helping staff at all because they're old enough. They can do all the tasks themselves. They just need somebody to supervise them in their academics.
Right. Okay.
So it depends on the disability of the child, their IQ, and how old they are.
Yeah.
So maximum, we have 10 children per class in our school.
Okay.
See, like I told you earlier, we are catering to children of all disabilities. A child who's who is multiple disabled, it's very difficult for him to be moved into society to work independently. It's very difficult. But if a child is hearing impaired, the child comes to me who's very tiny, say a 5-year-old or 6-year-old. So by the time he's about 15, 16, he has learned he knows how to read and write. He knows sign language. He has been trained to express everything through gestures, and he can work. We have had about 4 boys, and who are all hearing impaired, and one child who's an ADHD child, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. That child also came to me when he was about 5, 6 years old. Today, they've all completed class 10 and they're working in different companies.
Okay.
I've got some boys who are working in the Hyatt at Saket, and I've got one boy who's working at the Hilton Hotel in Gurgaon, and one is working in a courier company who's there in the packing unit. So it depends upon the disability of the child. If the child is able to interact with the rest of the world, able to understand, follow instructions, and do the said task. It is mainly the hearing impaired who can be, moved out, and learning disabled, and the children with ADHD. The children with multiple disability, it is not possible for us to move them out and make them work.
Okay. So what is, beyond school for the multiple disabled?
See, we do not have a passing out age in our school.
Okay.
In my school, I have a 43-year-old child also, a 45-year-old child also. For me, they're all children because the mental level is equivalent to that of a 6, 7-year-old.
Right.
So we do not have passing out ages in our school.
Okay.
Because we have trained them that they look forward to coming to school. They have a set routine.
Right.
Like at the moment due to the pandemic, children are at home, and parents are ringing us up and saying, "Ma'am, they're troubling us a lot. If they come to school, they are so well organized. They have a set routine. They get up in the morning, they go to school, they come back in the evening, they have a small snack, do their homework, and then they go off to sleep." Even a 44-year-old or a 45-year-old, they have a set routine. They look forward to some activity. Now, if the child is at home, parents are working all the time. Parents don't have so much time to attend to this child. So when they don't have time, the child has behavioral problems. There's head banging, they're screaming, they're shouting, they're fighting their parents. And the parents have a lot of difficulty doing the basic household chores.
Okay.
So multiple disabled is very difficult to keep them for a long time at home. It's better they come to school, they have a set routine, they go on accordingly. 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, when they're at home, or a brief 10 days winter break, or a 15, 20 days, a summer break, that's enough. That's a nice way to rejuvenate. It's a nice break. And then they come back. They have something to look forward to.
Okay.
There is a hope. Like we call our school a home away from home.
Yeah.
We try to give them a homely atmosphere.
Okay.
So they're comfortable. Parents are also looking forward to it. See, like I was just telling you, parents have to attend to these children all the time. Like if we have a normal child also, the mother sits for the online classes for a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, even a 10-year-old. Now, even if my special child is a 20-year-old, the parent has to sit. The activities have to be done under guidance of the parents. So that is a very big challenge. The parents are not free. School chal raha hai, free hai, nahi hai. They have to sit with the child. That 1 hour activity has to carry on under the supervision of the parent, because the child cannot do it himself.
Right.
He cannot follow instructions. The teacher might be giving instructions, but he cannot follow them to the dot. So parent has to guide. And then since our children are from the lower strata of society, they cannot afford the internet. So they, get a packet of the package, the 200 rupees package, the 300 rupees package. Now when that is over, then they cannot have the class. And they have to send SMS, मैम पैसे खत्म हो गए जी, ये 2 दिन की क्लास हम नहीं ले पाएंगे, अगले महीने जब सैलरी आएगी तो हम carry on करेंगे. So that is a very big drawback for us.
Okay.
See, the
etc.
first thing I would tell all my youngsters who are preparing to enter this field, unless you are dedicated towards this field, you have sympathy, empathy towards such children, do it. If you don't do it for money. It
Yeah.
is useless because you are always working towards that half an hour period. I will take a class for half an hour and I'm getting so much money. So don't do that because they are special children. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes for the child to develop, to get into the mood to sit down and do an academic class. And if you're teaching only for 15 minutes out of that 30 minutes, it's not worth it. Well, I mean, you're making a fool of yourself and the other person.
Correct.
This is a very sensitive field. If you have commitment towards these children, then enter this field. Agreed, people make millions in this field. You can mint money in this field. Some people say, no, we can't. But yes, you can. You can get connected with a special school. Children going to regular schools, you can get in touch with them. Each child today has some problem or the other. Some child has problem in mathematics, which we call dyscalculia. Some children have a problem in their writing, which is dysgraphia.
Yeah.
Some children are learning disabled. There are children. And if we start training them from the beginning, when they reach the class 10, class 12, these problems are all covered up. So special educators are needed here to work with these children on a 1:1 level. And minimum, see, in North Delhi, per session, the charges, a 45-minute session, the charges are about 600 to 700 rupees per session. If you move towards South Delhi or Gurgaon, the rates are even higher. So yes, you can make money. It is not that it is not a paying field, but you have to be hardworking for that.
Yeah.
You have to run from one place to another, or you can set up your center and start your coaching center. Get connected with hospitals, get connected with pediatricians, with the doctors, and in their clinics only you can carry on with your special education classes, or you can do home tuitions also. And as compared to a regular tutor, a special educator is paid higher than a home tutor.
Okay.
So this is a paying field, and it depends on the child's interest. You can be trained to work with the hearing impaired. You can be trained to work with the autistic children. It is better you specialize so you know how to handle a particular group of children.
Okay.
The most difficult children to handle are the autistic children or the multiple disabled. A child who has autism as well as Down syndrome, a child who has autism who's physically challenged. These are the tough. This is a very tough sector. If you learn the tough one, out of Down syndrome and autism is tough. If you can handle an autistic child, you can definitely handle a Down syndrome child. In the same way with multiple disabled, and a child with cerebral palsy has autism also. If you can handle his autistic characteristics, you can definitely handle his disability characteristics. So it depends on your interest. There are institutes all over Delhi NCR who are working with training of students. We have Tamanna, we have IGNU, and we have Action for Autism. We have in South Delhi, and then in North Delhi, we have Vision Institute, who's working with the training of students. Then we have Ashtavakra Institute, who's again working with training of students in this field, in specialization. So there are lots of institutes, and you can join these institutes immediately after your class 12 also. Or you can do your graduation and then do your B.Ed.
Okay.
If you have to do a diploma course, you can do it immediately after your schooling. And for a B.Ed, you can do it after your graduation. Diploma and B.Ed. You can do diploma also in special ed. You can do a B.Ed also in special ed. So a B.Ed has more value as compared to a diploma.
Okay.
Diploma is the first stage. B.Ed is the second stage.
Okay.
Special education is a very rewarding field. It gives you a lot of peace, a lot of happiness. We learn to be grateful for what we have. You must have noticed people, saying that I don't have this. I don't have a car, I don't have a BMW, I don't have a Volkswagen. But when we look at these children, we realize how grateful we should be to the Almighty. These children are happy all the time. They have nothing to fight about. They are true souls. They don't know how to lie. They don't know how to cheat you. They're the honest souls. And when you're working with such children, you realize that you are a blessed person who's working with such people. We
Right.
should be grateful that we're working with such children. You know, a child cannot see. Then we realize how important our vision is. A child cannot walk. We realize that we are our hands and our legs are perfectly fine. We have no problem walking from one place to another, doing our tasks independently, and they are dependent on others for the smallest task. It makes us realize what all we have, what we should not fight for, we should not be disturbed about. We should be grateful for whatever we have. It grounds us. It's a very grounding field.